should work. I don't like how recessed the DVD drive is, but I don't know. What other options do I really have? That'll have to do. As for the hard drive, it'll bolt right into any one of these 5 bays that we have here at our disposal. This is far and away the easiest part of adapting the Xbox into this case. But do we really want to stick with this pathetic 10 gigabyte hard drive? Absolutely not. I've got a stack of these old 2 terabyte HGST hard drives laying around from upgrading my NAS, and one of these will do perfectly as a replacement. But, where's the SATA port? Well, there isn't one. So we can't use this hard drive then. But we can! Through the black magic of the company StarTech, we can install this here SATA to IDE adapter board onto the back of our hard drive and then carry on connecting our 2 terabyte SATA hard drive over an IDE cable. This feels like it should not be possible. But wouldn't running a SATA hard drive over an IDE cable be a speed bottleneck? Yep. It's finally time to do our T-SOP flash. That way the Xbox will accept our new hard drive. Technically, I don't have to do a T-SOP flash to upgrade the hard drive, but doing dangerous and risky things in the name of gaming is like kind of my kink, so that's what we're doing. One steamy evening with a SurBIOS installed disk later, and our hard drive is good to go. Now that we have a mounting solution for most of the parts, it's time to begin the great migration. I ended up connecting the hard drive with this horrendous round IDE cable.
Which was the style at the time?
Rounded IDE cables provide no better performance, but they elicit cool music.
And since it looks like it boots fine and nothing appears to be broken, I can move on to making a cooler. The Xbox normally uses a single small fan to pull air through the console and out the back of it. Sucking air through the heatsink is a fine solution if you have a tightly controlled space and airflow path. I could design something like that for myself, but the fact that I have to cool both the CPU and GPU heatsinks, which are not the same size and shape, makes me really not want to have to deal with that. So instead, we'll do the tried and true method of just dumping air on top of the heatsinks like computer makers have been doing for decades now. And I don't have much faith in that little front intake fan to get cool air all the way across the case, so I'm just going to pull cold air in from the rear fan by flipping it around. And at this point, I could just stick another fan on top of this heatsink and call it a day, but I got to thinking about that 2000s computer styling with the case again, and I had an idea. In Dell's old piece of crap Optiplex and Dimension computers from the XP era, they would install this big, gaudy green fan duct to cool the CPU, since throwing in a hunk of green plastic was a lot cheaper than installing a second fan. And it just screams 2000s shitbox. I could try to measure the distance between the heatsink and the fan and get the exact clearance that I'll need around the capacitors and brackets, but no, that's stupid. It's a waste of time because of something called photogrammetry. Photogrammetry is probably one of the coolest technologies I have ever used. Apart from the translator pen. That thing can play Half-Life. First, you take an absolute truckload of pictures of your subject from the
I can't see my phone, so yeah, that's kind of why I'm not responding, sorry. Let me move back so I can see the chat. We have hello, hello, hello. What? Guess there's nobody playing right now. Hello again.
Reference for when I'm making the cooling duct. A few hours in Autodesk Fusion later, and we've got ourselves a duct, which actually fit perfectly on the first print.
I'm not good at this. I haven't played in a long time, and I just decided to live stream for no reason. Kinda crazy that people still play this.
Cooling solution looks like it's going to work just fine. I know I said that pulling air through the heat sinks instead of pushing air through them would be worse, but just to double check, I flipped the fan around and intake, it will stay. Having 2 intake fans is going to create a slight positive pressure in the case that should help get rid of the heat, but the exhaust fan up here in the power supply will likely be doing most of the heavy lifting. The hard drive also did seem to get pretty hot while transferring games, so I also put this 92mm fan in the lower drive bay. Now that the cooling is all figured out, it's time to tackle the wiring. There are 3 important cables that run through the Xbox that we need to address. The controller port
Yes,
cable,
I definitely know this is fun.
Power cable, and the cable that runs to the front panel. In order to not modify any part of the front panel I/O cables that are attached to the case, I'm gonna modify the Xbox.
Guys, I'm gonna do it if you send the laughing disco. Just kidding.
Front I/O cables.
No
One
need
wire
for a
each
laughing
for the
disco.
power button, eject button, red LED, and green LED, then 4 more to give each of those a ground line. All of those wires terminate in one 8-pin header that we can then plug our front panel.
Load
I/O
faster.
cable into. The reason why we need to mess with the DVD drive's power cable is because
One,
it's
two.
so short. You know, actually,
We got 2 people
now that I'm
playing.
looking at this, it's more of an average size DVD drive power cable. Either way, the run that it needs to make, though, is very long. To lengthen it, I just split the cable down the middle, took a run of ribbon wire from an old IDE cable, and reconnected each individual wire to both ends of it. These solder seal wire connectors made this process tolerable, since I had to make 24 total connections. And before I do the same thing with the controller port cables, I still need to figure out how exactly they're going to mount up to the case. I'm going to keep with the idea of mounting them under the DVD drive here, since I don't really want to put them in the back, and it just kind of seems stupid. I also realized that most of my front panel I/O is not going to work. See, with the front
There's a
panel
big
off,
delay.
you have a few hard drive LEDs, a red one for power, a button for power, and
Now,
a
how
button
about
for
this?
reset. Perfect. But when you put the panel back on, only the power button remains accessible. So if I want power LEDs and an eject button, I'm going to have to cram them under the DVD drive too. Actually mounting these things, there's not much to really mount it to at all. So what I'm kind of left with here are these rails for the lower 5 1/4 slot, the one that's covered up by this cover here. And I think I can design something, some kind of bracket that's just going to go from these rails kind of out here. But in order to do that, we're going to have to lose this little cover. And technically speaking, this is part of the case. And you can see that it's just tacked on with the tiniest little weld ever, because you're meant to pop these out. In fact, they popped this one out down here where the hard drive is for pretty much no reason at all, because the actual front panel has nowhere for that to go. And I know the goal is to not make any permanent modifications to the case here, but to get these controllers mounted up, that's kind of the only option. But if there's one thing I have to permanently modify, I think this is an acceptable one. So if that's too much for you to bear, look away, because it is coming out. Later. Now, with hopefully a complete understanding of everything that needs to get shoved into this 5 1/4 bag, I designed this bracket that has room for a dual color red-green LED and a spot for a small tactile switch for the eject button. Those components are sandwiched between the controller port modules, which had to have their plastic
Oh, there he
mounts
is.
cut down by quite a bit to fit into this space. One more round of cable extending later, and our front I/O is now complete. Also, notice how the DVD drive is not recessed back like before. I fixed this by using a document scanner of all things, and scanning the bottom of the DVD drive bezel to make a 3D printed negative of it that's been extended to the proper length to bring it forward enough to be flush with the controller ports.
Why
And
is
I
it
gotta
so
say,
hard to run?
This looks fantastic. This thing is really coming together now. It even sounds like an old computer now when you turn it on.
Actually, I need that.
Stretch now. I can finally address some of the smaller things. To keep the DVD drive in place, I designed a couple braces for each side of it to keep it from moving backwards or upwards. I secured the I/O board nicely to this spare motherboard standoff, and I cut down the rear slot cover to fill the gap left by the Ethernet port.
Oh.
Custom I/O shield with a cutout for the video connector.
Huh?
Snaps in place just like a real one. And the basement area here was looking
How is he
a little
down
bit
there?
sparse and ugly, so I threw in this air ramp that will help direct air from the intake fan up towards the CPU and GPU. Whether or not this piece really improves airflow or does anything at all, I'd say it probably doesn't. But it does help the space at the bottom a little bit, which is what I really care about. And I know I've done a lot of work into this gap, but I do think it's pretty cool.
Yes, I won.
Look at that. The only thing this needs now is this fan to be covered in 10 pounds of dust, and this will be 100% accurate to early 2000s gaming computer. Okay, actually it looks sick though, what the heck. So I guess with that, it's done. Here it is. the Xbox Alpha B. There's something poetic about
Oh, it
combining
worked.
the Alpha 1 case, which existed
Huh.
well before the
I got full
Xbox
diamond
as
armor.
we know it today, with mods that bring the console so much further into the future than people in 2001 could have ever imagined. 2 terabytes
I don't really know how to
of
use an
SAS
Elytra,
storage
but okay.
with the potential to be upgraded all the way up to even
How do you use one?
16 terabytes. The Alpha was originally designed to make
Oh yeah,
games for the
that was
Xbox
super cool.
without the ability to boot any retail games, but now that this one is using modded final production hardware, not only can it still be used to make games, now it can play the Xbox's entire library, and all of it off of a single hard drive. The output on this thing looks beautiful, whether it's on a CRT
No.
or full HD on a modern display. It's absolutely silent, except for the nostalgic clicks and clacks of a mechanical hard drive and an optical drive. Optical media back. This whole build can all be completely reversed as well, leaving the Alpha 1 case exactly as it was, in case the time ever comes for it to move on to someone new. And the best part of this project to me isn't this project at all. It's the ones that will come after it. I realized after a while that while I was making a sick Resto Mod Alpha 1 dev kit, I was also essentially at the same time making an Xbox to PC conversion kit. Think about it. There's no reason why you couldn't replicate this build beat for beat into any case that you want, as long as it has 2 5.25 bays in the front, of course. I'm going to release all of the STL files for this build, as well as the Fusion project file, and a build guide that goes into more detail than I did in the video. All of these are going to be free on my printables page. The link is in the description. But if you end up using any of my designs to make a build of your own, show it off to me on Twitter or Discord or something. There's links to all of my stuff in the description. I just want to see what you guys end up making. I already want to make another one myself. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.
Hello.
Fill up with new Johnsonville sausages like cheddar jalapeno. That's Speedway.
That was such a delay.
Well, I didn't have one of these growing up. I'm not really sure what to say about it. And I know this thing is beloved in many people's hearts, so I don't want to do it dirty, and upset everybody that loves this thing. So because of that, I have asked ChatGPT, please write an intro for a Bringus Studios video about opening and cleaning and modifying a fat PlayStation 2 that sounds exactly like something Bringus Studios would say. So according to ChatGPT, here is my intro for this PlayStation 2 video. Hey there, tech adventurers! Welcome back to Bringus Studios, where we dive into the heart of gaming nostalgia. Today, we're cracking open the vault of classic gaming to bring you a special treat. A fat PlayStation 2. This isn't just any walkthrough. We're going to open up this bad boy, give it a thorough cleaning, and show you some of the cool mods that will breathe new life into this legendary console. So grab your screwdrivers and join us as we explore the inner workings of the PS2 and transform it into a machine that's ready for the future of retro gaming. Let's get started. Okay, well now that that's over with, here's the plan. I don't know much about the PlayStation 2, but I know that there is a big ol' IDE hard drive right up in here. Max Tor. I haven't heard that name in ages. 250 gigabyte PATA. So we're going to be replacing this we're going to be installing this little pile of goodies. At the bottom here, there's a fan. Because this little guy is not really known for being the quietest. The Fat PS2 could really have learned a thing or two from the Slim one, and that lesson comes today in the form of not to a fan. And besides that, there's all the stuff to actually mount that up, a Funkbud memory card, and a SATA adapter board to convert our crummy old IDE hard drive adapter into a cool little SATA one. And this is pretty cool because not only is this an IDE hard drive controller, but it also handles network stuff. And by using this, we don't have to replace this entire thing. We can just, stick a new controller on there and be good to go. We can still do all the web surfing we want. I assume, at least. I don't know. What can you do with the PS2 internet in 2024? And don't think about it too much. I swear to you, this will be worth the time. So without further ado, hard drive adapter time. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can replicate it with another screw. Oh, that was a crispy screw. Are these the world's most crispy screws? Let's find out. Alright, so later shielding. Oh wow. Kind of a lot going on here. And I could not explain any of it to you. Please be careful when you remove the FPS flat cable. No way, this has an FPS cable? Wait, how many FPS does this get? Okay, I lost count. But that's a whole lot of FPSs in there. Look at those. Gotta be at least 20. Impressive. Impressive FPS cable. But I've got my own now, thank you very much. I think the general consensus that we reached from the XI3 video, when I asked you to ponder the question, is Torx cute or cringe, was that big Torx screws are cute, but small ones, like this one, are quite cringe. Oh, that feels like it's just going to strip at any moment. Okay, wow, that was really in there. I believe we're saying goodbye to the Molex port, seeing as SATA drives don't use them. Maybe I'll go charge a
No way.
Oh shoot, I still need
I
the
just
cable.
started.
Hold on.
What does that
I
mean?
didn't mean it, little Molex. You are still useful.
Look at this.
This part.
It's a note from me from 2021. Hi, it's I think it's Friday, 10/22, 6/17, 2021. A bunch of spaces on PS4. I'm Bentley. Wow. Oh, look at that.
Which is a very interesting thing to call nylon spacers, or maybe bushings, if you're an asshole. The kit came with its own screws too, but since we determined that Tiny Torx is cringe, I think it would match the channel better if we reused them. And the Molex connector mount is kind of just doing this now. There's not really much of a point in putting the screws back in because the threads are on the part that's moving. Very cool. But I think that's that then. Now this just reads, warning, nothing. Alright, with that, now we will have no idea if this works until we get the rest of the PS2 done, I guess. The idea is to do a free HD boot. And so now that we have this...
Look at that. It's from 2021.
Oh, I just tripped over a box from today's sponsor. Flexi Spots! We are going to get a chance to see the wild Bringus in his natural habitat, his studio. It looks like today he's even brought a Flexi Spot C7 ergonomic office chair into his studio, and he's going to perform the ritual of assembly on it for us to see. You see, the ritual may sound complicated, but in fact, the wild Bringus is not a very intelligent creature.
Okay.
This excites the same part of my brain that likes Beyblades. Lucky for him, the FlexiSpot C7 chair is extremely simple to put together and requires no more than a room temperature IQ to assemble. Look at the ease in which he inserts the piston into the base of the chair. What a magnificent display.
Again.
After assembly, the Bringus then takes it out for a spin. As
I think that's how you spell it.
His fascination with the fully adjustable armrest, the adjustable mesh headrest, and the ability to assume the big chill in stature with a 128-degree recline. Our studies have determined that all of these things and more are what makes for a great sitting experience. And it appears that the Bringus creature has now accepted the FlexiSpot C7 into his studio, placing the chair and his editing computer in a display of acceptance. I've heard that pretending to be animals is a very popular pastime among Bringus's audience. So if you want the C7 chair to live as the wild Bringus yourself, FlexiSpot has their brand day sale once a year, and it's happening right now. Get up to 60% off by using the exclusive code BBC7. It's the best time to get a great chair or desk at flexispot.com. We bring it back to Big Mama. Oh boy, where do you even start? And you know, believe it or not, there are things in this world that I do not want to absolutely decimate. Oh, this PlayStation 2 being one of them. Because it's in pretty good condition, I would say. Because these things are, what, 20 years old? PlayStation 2 release date.
It was first released in Japan on the 4th of March 2000.
Huh. 24 years old. Brother, this thing is as old as me. So we are whipping out the iFixit tutorial today, ladies and gentlemen. Put the PlayStation 2 over so it lays with the bottom of the device facing upwards. So what you're saying is ass in the air, huh? Use the flat edge of a metal spudger. A metal one? Really? We're really just jumping straight to drastic measures? Plastic's probably fine. Yeah, look at that. Metal spudger. Oh, you know what? They weren't telling you to use a spudger made out of metal. They just wanted you to make sure that your spudger is metal AF. Oh, again. These are the world's most crispy screws. Holy crap. What is it with this generation of game consoles and comically long screws? Dude, the ones from the Xbox are just like this. Oh my goodness. Here's another one. Oh yeah, we love it. Who needs drugs when you have the PlayStation screws? And the final one for your auditory pleasure. Nope. Cancel that. Peel the warranty sticker. To avoid activating the void that may come up, heat it carefully to remove and replace it clean. When was this posted? July 2022? You know, JW Young, I think that your PlayStation 2 might be out of warranty by now. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Oh, she's a fighter. Well, luckily, you know, I can just do this. Oh, there we go. That's weird that iFixit didn't mention that you should be using 3 hands for this. Alright, gamers. What's inside the PlayStation 2? Oh, I can't. Hold on. We're still connected by this. I'm trying to do an inside reveal, dude. Can you, like, just not do this? How am I supposed to be dealing with this right now? Disconnect the power cord assembly from the top case? How am I supposed to do that? Oh, it opens up that way. Oh, hold on. That was supposed to be a reveal. Okay, what's inside? The PlayStation 2. Yeah, it just doesn't have the same impact now. You guys already... Okay, whatever. How in tarnation... Oh, like that. See you later, top cover. Goodbye. Caution. Laser radiation when open. Do not stare into beam. Alright, where's this radiation-causing beam? Oh, that's not a radiation-causing beam. That's Star Wars Battlefront 2. Stupid warning sticker. Here's what we're really after. So this whole thing just kind of comes out. Yes, but there's still a cable connecting
That's
it.
fun.
We have to go deeper.
Yeah, you go to the next paper.
Oh my goodness. There we go. Finally. Wow, this is quite a pain to get out. Brown ribbon cable here disconnects from a spot that you can't see because there are other ribbon cables over here plugged into things that you can't even see those, so I can't flip it. This is very good. Very good PlayStation 2 moment.
There.
This is shockingly awful. There's no way this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It says lift and remove the optical drive straight up and out of the bottom case. That's not possible. Not even remotely possible. There are so many. I'll show you guys. There are so many ribbon cables under here. There's no way I can just lift this straight out of the case. You didn't have to build it like this. I miss the Xbox. I miss it so bad. It was so easy to work in. I think this is now enough of an angle to do some surgery. Holy crap. Ribbon cable out. We've done it. Oh boy, that is going to be a pain to get back in later. Memory card and controller connector out. Not even really that dirty either. Kind of surprised. A little bit of that. There we go. All clean. This is actually just terrible. The fact that I have to go through so much to replace the fan, I only need to do what I'm doing right now because there's a cable down in there connecting the fan to the motherboard. And they didn't put like a little fan header just, you know, like right here, right next to it or something. No, it has to be on the underside of this board. Well, luckily, I think we're at the point where we can kind of just get to the underside of that board. Dude, this is just bad. There's no other word for it. Look at this. Look how ready to leave this guy is. This is evil. Look at where the cable goes. It goes under the shielding. Dude, you have to be kidding me. I'm tempted to just cut the wires where they are and just resolder them. No, we'll do it right. See you later, sucker. See you later. Okay, I believe that from here I can get it.
Nope.
Dude, this just sucks.
Nope.
Oh, I'm gonna break it. I'm going to break it. There's
Nope.
no getting a grip on this. I'm going to cut these wires, I swear. Not because I want
Nope.
to, although I do want to. Why?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Goodbye, sir. Thank you for playing. And while we're here, I do want to verify that my JST connector will go into that. Wait for a moment. If it doesn't, you know, it doesn't look like it's gonna fit. No.
Oh, it's Case. Hi, Case.
Chat, this is so
Oh,
sad.
Case left.
Can someone send me a donation to make me happy again? I think that is an insect carcass. Okay, well, this is a very epic impasse. I'm sorry, Purity Police. I'm cutting the cable. If it makes you feel any better, the solder points are extremely accessible, so it could technically be reused. Ah! Rest in peace, friend. Oh, look at this little guy. It's just a baby. Except when you compare it to the stock fan, it's actually a thickum. So what do we just kind of pull these little dingle bongles through? These kind of feel terrible. I feel like I'm trying to rip a tadpole in half. Oh. Whoa, what the heck? Hold on, I did not do this. Look at how my fan header came. It's like destroyed. That's just snipped off. What the heck? How? Actually, how? That is strange. Now I'm like questioning myself. Like, did I do this? This seems like something I would do, but this is a brand new fan. All right, that's a thing. Epic Noctua mystery. Now I will be cutting their Molex adapter though. Damn, I could have plugged this into the hard drive connector. I'm a fool. Ah! Adapter complete. Will I be able to shove all of this cable into the PS2? Because if not, I'm cutting this again and I'm soldering it directly in there. And you know I don't want to do that. You know I don't want to do that. So you better make it work, PlayStation. You also have to transfer over the power socket, which should be as easy as kind of just shoving it in here. Be that, I guess. And you know what's really crazy is that it's already put back together. That was terrible to put back together. So let's hope I did this right, because I'm not opening it back up anytime soon. And like all good modifications, there was one screw left over. That's how you know you did a good job. But there it is. It's installed. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what else it is? Absolutely silent. You hear the fan? Yeah, me neither. All right, so what's next? I don't really know, but my Bringus intuition tells me that we should probably put our new SSD in. I meant to say hard drive there, so I kind of spoiled the surprise, but I'm going to be putting in an SSD. It's a Intel 160 gig. I think I've used this before, but I don't quite remember where. All I know is that it's gonna live on in the PlayStation 2. Huh. So I 3D printed this adapter to hold it in place, but there's no mounting screw holes for the SSD. Excuse me, dude? It's supposed to just sit there? That sounds awful and bad. I mean, it's just a SATA SSD. It's not going anywhere, I guess. At this point, why wouldn't I just take that whole 3D printed piece off and just raw dog it like this? Like, why not? It's the same thing. Very weird. Yeah, I don't really know why it's missing screw holes. The original model didn't have them either. So, very cool. I chose a really good model. Alright, so goodbye to this guy. I'll make a new one later. No way, dude. You've gotta be kidding me. For now, we're just gonna tempt fate, I guess. And now we just have to put in our memory card. Right in there. Plug in a DualShock the sequel. And then we press this button. Oh, wait, it was that easy? You just stick the memory card in there and then it just works? This is illegal. This is too easy. I should have got into the PS2 ages ago. GBA, temp GBA, excuse me, isn't that a website? Wow, there's a lot to do here. I don't even know where to start. Browser. Is this a web browser? No, this is a memory card browser. Wow, look at all this fancy stuff. I truly have no clue what I'm looking at, but very cool. Alright, before I go any further, I think it's tutorial time, because based on everything that I'm seeing on the screen here, it seems like it would be extremely easy to start screwing stuff up. Alright, you launch Elf. Sounds like a game I would have played on Newgrounds back in the day. I do have that. Alright, launching Elf. Oh wait, hold up, I gotta mess with the SSD first. Alright, hold on. What? No, stop, don't, no, do not do this. Alright, out you come. Now we're writing like a hard drive image or something to the SSD? I don't know, man, I just follow tutorials. Go, do it. So back in you go. And also we have a new friend here in the form of flash drive. It's got some stuff it wants me to copy to this to copy to the PS2, and I'm not one to say no. Alright, take two. Oh, we're in a menu. Whose idea was it to put dark gray on black? Look at that, you can't even see it at all. Also, this is just booted off the hard drive. I took the memory card back out, and so I guess like we don't even really need this. So thank you, memory card. Thank you for apparently nothing. But that's kind of crazy though. You just write an image to the hard drive and now we're booted into some who knows what? That's still incredibly easy to mod. What the heck? The PS2 is kind of amazing. Alright, lights are going off so that I can see. Now that you are in You Launch Elf, enter the file browser option. Done. Oh, suddenly I can see. Wow, this is so much better. We are now opening HDD Manager. Hello. This is a cute little menu. Well, it sees the whole size of my SSD, so that's good. And now it's time to format. Destroys all partitions. If I had a nickel for every time I destroyed all partitions, goodness gracious, I would be a rich man. I taketh away, but I also giveth. It's now time for creation. And I've been directed from my higher power to write OPL here. Okay? And now I'm being told to choose 768. Alright, sounds good. Now we're gonna installer. So I think this is where the real special sauce happens. Okay, it's done. The HDD is ready to receive games. Flashbang in 3, 2, 1. So what does a cold boot look like? Oh, okay, so it's like the same thing as the free McBoot memory card. Well, that's neat. But now what do I do? Okay, my ultimate goal here, like most people I imagine, is to just get this out of my sight. I can't stand to look at it anymore. If it wasn't one of my most favorite games of all time, I would crush it like a bug. Optical media, bad. So I want to take this and dump it to the SSD and just be done with it. So that's what we're gonna do. You guys are so lucky. You get to watch me take a dump on camera for free. And from what I understand, the dumping program is right here. The FreeMcBoot memory card has a tool that will let me take this dump. So back in he goes. Power we shall turn on. HD loader we will run. And install we will click. Oh, so that's it? We're officially taking a dump? This is certainly not the fastest dump I've ever taken. Jesus, 30 minutes? Sure, get off the pot, PS2. Come on, man. Alright, well, I guess we'll come back to this in half an hour then. Battlefront 2 is complete. Absolutely dumped. Okay, now I want to dump one more game. A staple of this channel. Half-Life. The PS2 version of Half-Life is actually pretty good. Oh. You know, I got a feeling it's not supposed to do that. Okay, well the screeching of the souls of the damned has stopped. So, install. Continue. Disk inserted is not a valid PlayStation 2 disc. That's not true. It says it right here. Try again. What is that sound? That sounds like a Dreamcast. Yeah, that can't be good. Disk inserted is not a valid PlayStation.
Send laughing disco emoji and I'll do.
Okay,
No, just
this is,
kidding.
mightily not good. Well,
Somebody say hi and I'll send it. Somebody say hi and I'll send it. Guys, join up the stream. I'm gonna send it.
What's the difference between these two discs? This is like the blue one, which I think means it's a CD, and this is a DVD. From what I can tell, they're like the same thickness. All right, what if I put a different CD in there? Dell
Send laughing
Resource
disco and I'll
CD
send it.
Webcam Central for
Just
Business.
kidding.
My favorite game.
No
In fact,
need
it's
for
already
laughing
installed
disco.
on my computer. But this is a CD, so let's see what happens. That sounds a little silly, but I think it's working. Okay, so clearly HDL is not going to read it. But it does. This is fine.
Hello, Case. Hello. No.
This question